Hello, this is Matt O'Leary, and this is 5 great albums that you have probably missed from 2018 so far. We're 5 months into the year, and I've just been thinking a lot about the future of this channel. You know, what new ideas, what fresh video topics can I come up with to mix it up and keep things interesting? And in that, sort of reflecting on other videos I love and other music discussion channels that I really like to watch and genuinely enjoy and look forward to. And I realized that I really love the recommendations. Like, that's what I'm in it for. And I go to videos to find out about underground and obscure and unknown stuff that may have slipped me by from this year, you know, modern stuff, but also distant past albums. So that's what I'd like to try to incorporate a little more in this channel. And, you know, I could do groups of albums based on mood, based on season. I'd really like to get your thoughts on it and comment below with what you like about this channel already and what you'd like to see more of. So these 5 albums do kind of run the gamut from stuff that, if you are following more notable music publications like Pitchfork, like Stereogum, like Noisy, then you may have heard of, but there's also stuff that's just completely out of left field and there's no way. First off, it's a New Jersey duo that's actually named after a Scottish football club. It's their breakthrough on Sub Pop Records, the self-titled second album from Fourth Wonders. This one definitely rivals Hop Along or Anna Birch for Best Female Indie Rock of the Year. This nimble and melodic guitar work is really the highlight here, and there's always some just raucous rhythm strum in the background with some lead over the top like the closer Temporary. And that instrumental nuance really supports the angsty and flat tone vocals pretty well. The songs do take a while to stick though. It's really a pleasing wallpaper for the first couple listens, and then over time patterns start to emerge that make each song more distinct. And there are some killer harmonies like on the songs New Face or Company. I think fans of early emo bands like Braid, or more recent stuff like Pine Grove, or even mathier stuff like Palm would probably be into this. There's sort of a bleak confessional part of it too that reminds me of like that Big Thief album from last year, or like Julian Baker. It's a really solid album, like a really clear-cut, unified sound and identity. Good stuff. Dutch sample master Lucinate has his first full-length LP out called Big Noise, and this is really an ode to the jazz music he grew up with. You've got some spacey soundscapes like Year of the Rat with its fantastic up-tempo groove and a multitude of sparkling electronics. Every single sound is interesting, like there's nothing dull about this at all. Okay, so you know in the spring when it rains for the first time, and every single moment of this album is like that first whiff you get. There's a melding of this late 50s cool jazz with these hip-hop beats, and sometimes they just seamlessly wind in and out of each other, back and forth, like on Tomorrow's Unknown or Universal Rhythm. Everything's just kind of sprinkled with this ornamental sampling that's just so tastefully put together. Universal Rhythm's probably the best example of all these pieces coming together into something equally lively and soothing. But there really aren't any duds on this thing. It's easily a front runner for Album of the Year so far. Kat Hunter is Lack the Low, and she's up next with her first album called One Eye Closed. And this one is avant pop, it's baroque pop, it's very experimental, but at the same time very rich and beautiful as well. The best comparison is probably Joanna Newsom. This girl's just a total virtuoso, and these compositions just wind and contort into these crazy shapes and truly unique territories. God knows why the closing track, definitely a highlight for me. It starts with this hushed a cappella and these mournful strings, and then blooms into these triumphant drum blasts. There's so many impressive time shifts and just unexpected drum parts on this thing. Tracks like Drive Every Night of Running or The Daylight Is All Inside are more focused on texture and atmosphere. And for a DIY project, it's just so impeccably arranged and executed. The crazy thing is, you know, with as grand and as illustrious as these orchestrations are, she's also just got a knockout voice. Usually, you know, you just got one or the other, but Kat's got it all going on. She goes into these just impossible runs on Future Heavy or the opener Do Your Worst, like Mwah. There are no limits for this woman. She's got jaw-dropping talent. I could talk about this one for days, but I gotta wrap this up so I can keep listening to it. Chicago alternative and neo-psychish rock band Post Animal came out their first full length, and it's called When I Think of You in a Castle. This one came after a couple really solid EPs, and these guys are kind of a mix of that visceral hard rock like White Denim and the hazy psych of Pond. Lots of power chords, lots of pentatonic riffs like the great ones on Gelatin Mode. I love the energy of those arena rock moments like Tire Eyes, and it's definitely less cookie cutter than a band like White Reaper. There are always 4 or 5 interesting sections to any given song, and they really do a good job of mixing up the dynamics and the transitions all the time. There seems to be a big comeback for these power pop bands that mix classic rock with these odd song structures like Once and Future Band or Mini Mansions or the Lemon Twigs. Add Post Animal to that list. It's a pretty derivative at times, but this is a great sound and a great batch of tunes. I do wish they'd throw in more sounds and songs like that gorgeous opener, but you know, maybe next time. Finally, we got one of the best around in this instrumental chill hop sound. It's Joey Pecораro's 4th album in as many years. It's called Music for Happiness. A truly fitting title there, and if you're not familiar with that specific phrase chill hop, then just imagine instrumental hip-hop beats, but with a distinctively relaxed vibe. And this stuff is especially smooth and easy to digest. There are plenty of these 1920s and 1930s samples, like of romantic conversations and crackling records and dusty pianos and muted trumpets. But it's more than just aesthetic. Like, there's definitely some clever songwriting here. Sometimes the modulation's gradual, and sometimes it's abrupt, you know, depending on what the song calls for. There's something so nice about that juxtaposition of the silky and legato melodies of the jazz piano on top of these stuttering electronics. They sure don't make mood music better than this, folks. This is contemplative and enveloping. And that's it. That is 5 albums that you probably missed from the year 2018. So let me know what you think of them. And, you know, again, comment on where you'd like to see the channel go. As always, thank you so much for watching.